Good morning, afternoon, evening, bonjour, guten tag, buenas noches, tardes, whatever is you doing. Like, my name is Holly Sita. I'm Holly Sita, and I am the founder of Morning Mimosas.
I'm fine too. I'm helping out on the sidekick side.
And we are Morning Mimosas, where we value criminal justice, healing, and education for the minority and Black community.
Amen.
So today, guys, we are going to talk about the case of Afrikka Hardy. She was a beautiful 19-year-old woman who was unfortunately murdered on October 17th of 2014. And her murder got justice for 6 other women, and we'll get into that as well. The reason that we are doing this story today is because me and my sisters knew her, and her passing had a huge effect on all of us that she left. Because she used to live in Aurora, Colorado, and then she moved to Chicago. So because the 9-year anniversary of her passing is coming up, I decided to talk about her and then the other 6 women who we will also put respect on. Here are the women. Obviously, Afrikka's the one on the bottom. The 7th woman, her picture has not been found online, so there's just 6 of the 7 that she got justice for, including herself. So to dive into it a little bit, Afrikka Hardy was born on April 19th, 1995, in Elgin, Illinois. She was a good kid. She was a good kid. She was such a sweetheart. People truly loved her. Just to share a memory of her that I have, she took my sisters to the 4th of July fireworks. I forget what year. I don't know if it was 2013 or 2012. But she was just always so sweet. And I remember when she moved from Colorado, I think that was about August or July, August or July. She went back to, her natural grounds. That's where she's from. She's from Illinois. And just respecting is advised. And just for the Hardy family, I love your daughter. So everything that I'm saying today is to bring awareness to her case and just awareness to street workers. So she was 4 months pregnant when she was murdered. So, and I'm gonna say allegedly she was, doing that kind of life. So, I know some other podcasters are able to do these stories and detach their emotions. I cannot. I'm a human. I'm also a mother that's lost a child. So every story that we talk about, I definitely put my emotions into it because we have to remember that these people that we are speaking of were human. So because they were human, we have to be mindful and remember to put the human aspect of things when we're talking about cases like this, because this person once breathed, walked, lived life like a human being. So we're gonna.
It was very sad. Of course, I'm sad when I read about all of our cases. Period. Sorry. but especially with someone with the intention of just trying to make a living, right? um, she's just a baby with a baby, just a baby with a baby. I wanted to also note when we get deeper in, because I don't want to forget about the fact that, like you said, that she helped clear those cases. There are cases still that have not. They suspect him of having crimes going back 20 years. So that's 20 years from when he was caught, right? So that also means that he only pointed them to certain places. That means that there's more out there. And it would not have stopped with her. So as I mentioned before, it wasn't, I mean, she didn't die for nothing, even though she died for nothing. She died and it closed other cases and stopped him from committing more.
That is for sure. So typically when we do these stories, well, obviously we do show you guys who the perpetrators are, just because we want you guys to know the person that did this callous act. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and put up the other victims and mention their names to us, because we also have to
Yes.
remember them, because they were murdered before her. So
They are people too. They were people too.
yes, ma'am. They sure were. And their names were Teaira Batey. Teaira Batey is the one that we do not have the picture of. It's Afrikka Hardy, Anith Jones, Tracy Martin, Kristine Williams, Sonya Billingsley, and Tanya Gatlin. May all 7 of you guys rest in love,
Power.
rest in love. And unfortunately, they were all killed by this man. His irrelevant name is Darren Dion Vance. I mean, what a piece of shit.
I wonder if because I believe if I remember correctly, in the article that you sent me, that it said that him and his wife, because he was married for a while, lived here in Texas. I have to double look. I have to go back and look at that. So there's probably cases here that she is not even aware of. I also would like to point out, because I'm sure that she, just like him, gets stigmatized. The wife does, because they say, how do these people not know? Sociopaths are very great at masking who they are. And if you meet someone who has a job that works odd hours, or they figure out a way in their schedule to go and do these things and come home without skipping a beat, because sociopaths only feel when it affects them. So
Right.
he could have absolutely gone out and killed these women and then went home and act like nothing was wrong. And so sometimes I believe that the women that are married to these men get a bad rap. There's some who absolutely know and are happy that it's been done to other people and not them, when they should just tell and get the hell away. But not to take away anything, every piece of shame, every piece of hatred, every piece of blame goes to him and no one else but him. Because it was totally, I don't even know what the word is. I can't even think of a big enough word to say fucked up. There's no way that these women posed a threat to him. He absolutely approached them for services, and they are trying to make a living to keep afloat, or whether that's the lifestyle they want to lead or they have to lead or whatever, it does not matter. It did not put them in a position, or should not have, for men to take their lives. I know that you and I have spoken about this before, is that I really hate that police do not take serious crimes against street workers serious. because I'm pretty sure before he got caught, somebody said something about their friend gone missing, and this was the lifestyle, and the police was just like, I mean, that's just that's her lifestyle. That's what she chooses. And it's not the fact. It's just not. I don't care. I don't care what the circumstances are. There was nothing that they could have done that would have warranted him taking their lives.
Period.
Period.
Like
And then let's not talk about the fact that he responded to a text message too. He responded to a text message. That's what set it off.
So for those of you that are just joining us, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Mimosas today. We are highlighting the case of Afrikka Hardy, and then let me go ahead and make sure that we name the other victims again: Anith Jones, Teaira Batey, Kristine Williams, Tracy Martin, Sonya Billingsley, and Tanya Gatlin. All 7 of these women were murdered by this ruthless piece of shit that you see in front of me, that you guys see in front of you guys here. But we're going to go ahead and show the beautiful soul of today's episode, and we will talk about what happened around the circumstances leading to these 2 disappearances. So we're going to start with Miss Afrikka. Afrikka, I love you. She recently moved back to Chicago after she lived out here. She met that piece of shit at a Motel 6 in Indiana, and he was after he found her through a escort agency, and then she was found deceased in the bathtub on October 17th, 2014. So that's unfortunately the circumstance with beautiful Afrikka. Miss Anith Jones, 35, of Gary, Indiana. She was last seen alive on October 8th of 2014, and she was reported missing 2 days later. After Van was arrested for the murder of Afrikka, he led the police to an abandoned house on October 18th where her body was found. We're going to go ahead and just show you this is where he did his hunting for all the women, unfortunately. 3 of their bodies were found in Indiana. Well, 3 of them were found in one abandoned house, and then he just scattered them. Oh, that just makes me so mad. I'm sorry. Like, I'm just looking at this map, and I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
because what's even more worse is that even though this is a very close proximity, some of the bodies were badly decomposed. So that means that even in the places that they were in these abandoned houses, nobody was checking in, nothing was going on. But he was able to leave a body in there for forever, whatever the year it was that he stole their lives.
right.
That they were badly decomposed, but had been in that house, and he just calmly is taking the police there like it's nothing. So he probably revisited those crimes just to see if it was still, if he was still in the clear, and then kept on killing.
I mean, it's just absolutely horrible. I mean, it's just absolutely horrible when you look at this, you're just like, oh my God. Like, I just don't understand how people just have so much free time to do these kind of evil acts. Like,
when he moved back, I don't think he was working. His wife left him, and then I think he was between jobs. If I think I read correctly, he wasn't gainfully employed for a minute.
oh,
because the wife said that when they moved back, things got weird. That's why they she ended up leaving him. They ended up filing for divorce because things got strange when they moved back.
Wow.
But it's just disgusting because of, especially because of the women that he chose. He knew the police weren't going to look into them missing, first of all, and then especially if they were, street workers, so to speak. Um, the police don't give a shit. They're still women who are putting themselves in a very difficult and dangerous situation to provide for themselves and kids, family, whatever.
I don't know. It's
But what's hurtful is not only what he did, but the crimes that they haven't even figured out yet. Because he, at this point, he got away with 7, so to speak, like he's
right.
in jail doing time. But they don't know about if he committed murders here in Texas, and then the bodies that he just hasn't told about elsewhere. 20 years is a long time for it just to be 7 people.
Yeah. So I read that about him. He was only convicted of the 7, but they're saying that it's at least 18.
Yes.
Um, and I'm like, so
And he don't ever have to say a word
yeah, because
about where the
I
rest
mean,
of them are.
because he's doing life. He's never getting out, so he doesn't feel like he needs to.
No.
It's
So
it's honestly
we
it's
jump.
very disheartening.
It's crazy because it makes me think about. Remember, we talked about the paper that I had to write about the death penalty and how certain people deserve the death penalty. He would be
Yeah.
a candidate that I would be okay with them taking the death penalty off of the table if he told them the rest of the body so people can have closer to where their people are.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's like the one off because I'm sure that there are many more.
He's he's not going to do that. Um,
No,
he has
so
for
let's
some
kill him.
reason he I think for the most part, from what I read, he's serving life without parole. So,
As
um,
he should.
but
He
I'm just
also should
like,
be in a solitary cell as well, away from everybody else, and not because I don't want him to, get his justice, his jail time, prison time justice. It's because he'll go crazy faster.
haha, he definitely deserves to go crazy for that. I just don't understand. For those of you that are joining in, because I see that a few people have joined us, so thank you guys so much for watching. Um, my big problem is, why do people, for whatever religion you are, why do people feel like they need to play God or whatever religion you believe in, right? Like, why? Like, that's the thing that I just find so inappropriate, is people think that they can just, take somebody else's life, and that's just cool. And I'm like, why? Like, why do people think that they have like the audacity to do something like that? I really want to. I want to That's why I'm taking. I'm going to Metro State Denver in January, and my minor is going to be criminology, because I want to understand I want to understand people's reasoning on why you think that you have a right to take somebody else's life, and you're just so fucking nonchalant about that.
You'll never find the absolute reason. That's why serial killers are studied, as well as murders and rapists and all of that, because there's no cookie cutter answer, right? Other than people are just sick as fuck. And sick is not just whimsical. Like some people, the sociopath of people, the psychopath in people, this need to hurt somebody to make yourself feel better, although animalistic. When you think about certain people in history, it's just in their DNA. But
Woo!
that's of the the non-melanated, you know, I mean, history. Kill, kill, kill. You want something, they won't give it to you, so you kill them. That is the basis of history. And hurt people, of course, that I hate saying that I hate hurt people. But it's absolutely, I do believe that for some people, it's an absolute obsession. Chemically, they are off, which is one of the reasons why I find this class that I'm taking, the biological psychology, so interesting. I feel like it should be included. When you start thinking about the different cells in our body and when they react a certain way to certain situations, and people say that I absolutely could not take it, and they lash out at other people. Sometimes people their bodies are so depleted of what we actually need that there is nothing to stop them. There's no energy or there's no source in their body that tells them, no, you have to stop. They just keep going. And then once they feel that release, then it's just like, okay, I'm done. But you did something completely horrible. And now you double down on those stressors because you took a life. And oh my God, the police are coming, or I have to do this. And so they keep going, trying to satisfy those urges to feel better, but they never feel better.
That is so true.
And that's why they kill even when they're in prison. They still kill because they feel that need. They have to do it to feel better.
I'm gonna read this comment. It says, "This is why I push spirituality so hard, because when you love yourself, you don't have to have that type of evil in your heart."
That's true and not true at the same time. It just depends on your chemical makeup. But yes, yes, it starts there. It starts there.
So,
you know the whole so you know how the whole argument about people being born homosexual, and that's a whole debate. There is no debate about people being born sociopaths. It is that. It is just that. And those people, now they don't get a pass for what they do. Absolutely not. But they absolutely sometimes cannot. And those are the people that need to be gone from the planet. They don't need to create another life that could possibly be the same as them. You need to check the rest of your family to make sure that everybody else is not the same. But that's why you hear like some children, actually little kids, kill their siblings and then feel no way about it. Sociopaths. When kids start killing animals for that gratification, you should already know that you have a budding serial killer, that they're sociopaths, and get that person some help. Or be rid of them. And it doesn't have to be prison. It could be a mental institution because they're literally mentally ill. But those people absolutely do not have any type of spirituality. That holds it for a long period of time. That spirituality. Start loving and liking yourself, please.
Yeah. So we're actually going to dive in a little bit deeper into what you're talking about, and I just want to thank my friend Bree for that comment.
Thank you, Bree.
Judging women or men who do that kind of work. Obviously, so the reason I'm mentioning that is because one of the articles about Africa says an escort murder, and I feel some kind of way about that because that's not who she was. She was way more than just that. So I need to find who wrote that, because I'm actually probably about to call you out here in a second.
Yeah, trying to devalue her life.
That's all she was. Like, oh no, she was definitely way more than that. People, I need people to put respect on her name. But where is it? Where's that escort?
Like all of that shit is irrelevant. Really.
Exactly.
He still killed her, whether she was a millionaire or an escort. It doesn't change the fact that he took her life.
And not that there's anything wrong with religion, but it teaches you principles more than anything, and how to love something outside of yourself. When you don't know themselves anything negative as possible.
Yeah, when you don't know thyself anything. That last sentence, put that back up for a second. Holly,
Yes,
put that back
ma'am.
for a second. That last sentence, when you don't know thyself, anything negative is possible. God damn, that's more than several words. Thank you.
Okay.
That's more than several words because yes, that's like if you don't stand for anything, you if you fall for something, you won't stand for nothing. Whatever that statement is, absolutely true. So religion is really is nothing but principles. In the sense of people who follow, they follow the guidelines, and if you don't dig deeper and find out how that helps you within your heart and makes you a better person, then it is just the principles that you're learning. But get to know you, love you enough
For
to know
sure.
that, I mean, just said earlier, never let anyone else have that much power over you.
Oh, look.
I didn't want, we're not going there, but I'm just saying, no one should have that much power over you that um, you think that you are worthy of being killed, worthy of being shitted on, worthy of not being taken care of, worthy of anything that does not benefit you. You know, it's bad enough that, you know, our parents teach us that we ain't worthy anyway. This younger generation, my generation, you know, parents think that they're teaching you rules and guidelines, but when you don't have a say so and don't know how to speak up for yourself because you're not allowed to and you get in trouble for it, then you are setting your child up for someone to come in and manipulate them because they don't love themselves or like themselves, especially in younger years. And if your parents were basically be seen and not heard, I mean, it's easy for people to get in gangs, people to get set up for the lifestyle that they want to say that this is why people are being killed. You don't have you don't really love yourself. You haven't built up the walls or the strength enough to really love yourself as a child because you don't know. And so when you get to a certain age, and then religion is crammed down your throat, depending on who your parent is. Because I can tell you that
Mhm.
I lived at church for a very long time in my childhood, and I could never step foot again in church and be good for the rest of my life, whether it's right now or 10, 20 years from now. I mean, it just
Okay.
doesn't matter. But when they devalue us, like an escort got murdered, you're taking away the fact that a woman lost her life unnecessarily. And so that's why it's hard. That's why it's easy. This is not, I mean, people kill sex workers at alarming numbers because they know the police ain't gonna give a shit about it, especially minority sex workers. Yes, especially because police don't care. And let's be honest, police are sometimes the one who are unaliving some of these sex workers. That's why they ain't never been found because they forensically know how to get rid of some shit, and they can cover it up because who are they? The people who are investigating. Like it's just a whole world of it. And then when you let this creep do something for what 20 years you're suspecting? Come on. Nothing about what she did for a living really needed to be noted and said out loud
No,
because
seriously.
technically she could have been she could have been they could have been on a date, that could have been her boyfriend, they could have been he didn't have his own place, she didn't have her own place, and they didn't want to do it in the car no more, so they got a room,
Okay.
and he could have killed her. So it does not matter. At the end of the day, what matters is that he took several women's lives and he's only paying for 7.
Absolutely
And
ridiculous.
in
Ridiculous.
some of these cases that we're looking into that they have been gone missing for 15 and 20 years and haven't been seen is probably somebody that he could have killed and nobody cares to look for them.
So
And on my
while backing up from that, I'm gonna go ahead and call out Sky News today,
soapbox. Ooh, we got a
because
name.
they're the ones. Yeah, I make sure that I'm giving as much detail as I can. So Sky News is the one that posted the video, and they're the one that says, this is the title. It says, escort Afrikka Hardy is allegedly one of Van's victims. I just, please, let's put respect on her name.
Also, respect on the fucking crime, because it's not alleged if he admitted to it. So that needs to be gone. Why is it alleged? If it wasn't for him, they would not have found her in a timely manner. So there is no allegedly to it. He admitted to it. Everybody that he's serving time for is somebody that he took the police to their bodies. So take away their profession and take away the fucking word allegedly, and he's a murderer. He's a serial killer, technically.
No, seriously. I mean, he's literally like the worst of the worst. But I'm gonna go back and speak on the other women as well. Some of them didn't live lives like that. You know, some of them were mothers who went missing because they went to go visit a friend, or and that's another thing that needs to be addressed. Wrong place, wrong time. That phrase really pisses me off when it comes to just all these cases in general, right? Yes, sometimes we can be at the wrong place at the wrong time. And when I say that, I mean if you're out in the streets, drug dealing, and then something happens, like, in that sense. But when somebody gets murdered at work, at school, grocery shopping, just walking to their car, that's wrong. That's wrong place, wrong time.
No.
So why is that? Why is that phrase? I don't know. And then another thing, and I want the family of victims who are currently watching or will watch this. I just want you guys to hear me out when I say this, and I mean this with love. I get very, very upset when I see an obituary that says so-and-so was called home by God.
Well, I will say this as the retort. Technically, it is what it is. Everybody has an expiration date. Everybody has an expiration manner. And whether we like it or not, that expiration date and manner, whether somebody took somebody else's life, it still was their time and how they were supposed to go. Even as jacked up as it is, but it's something that not need to be said. We know. Take it out the obituary. I'm just stating that. I mean, it's a fact. It is. They were called home because it was their time to go, and it was for that reason. Whether it is to help solve other ones or it's just senseless, which all of it really technically is senseless, right? But stop putting it in obituaries. Stop saying it.
Yeah, that's just kind of.
Even if they're in the hospital and they're sick and they die, it was their time, yes, but they died. Don't try to make it better than what it is. He murdered people. She was murdered. It was her time to go from God, absolutely, but she still was murdered. I want to put that in all caps. And he has a murder stain upon him more than 7 times. And God bless them, the women, who had to endure whatever he did. Because some of them, they haven't even put out the facts yet or what even happened. Mainly because they don't know because the bodies were badly decomposed. But I agree with you. Also, can we start with the T-shirts? I don't like the T-shirts. If you're going to be on that one. I don't like the T-shirts.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I get why people grieve like that. I wanted to put my daughter's picture on the T-shirt too, but my daughter, she was taken as an infant, and then I was also a minor when I gave birth to her, so there's also
There's a lot.
That's there's just the complications of all that. Like, even though I'm an adult now, like I gave birth to her as a child. I was a child having a child. So I thought about that as an adult. I'm like, do I really? I mean, you've seen my baby girl.
If I was you, I would get that tattoo, but I'm a tattoo fanatic.
I know that her little face is just so adorable.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I really wish. I mean, that just really made my stomach turn. Escort, allegedly.
I
If
just
she
don't
worked at the
understand.
post office, what would you put? If she worked at Ross, what would you put? If she was a CEO of a company, what would you put? Would you, as a black woman, if she was a CEO of a company, would you even put that she was a CEO? Excuse me.
I mean, it's absolutely it's just ridiculous. But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the other victims as well, and I'm gonna put the pictures of. No. We're here to educate people as well. So we have to take a break to educate on why everything that we do on Morning Mimosas ties in. So I appreciate our sidebars because our sidebars have to do with everything that we're talking about. So I appreciate you for that. The next one, her name was Teaira Batey. She's the one whose photograph is not listed here. She was 28 of Gary, Indiana. She left to meet a friend on January 13th, 2014. So this was about 9 months before Afrikka was murdered. It says her family waited to hear from her for a few days, but then reported her missing later in the month. She was found in an abandoned house, 1800 East 19th Avenue in Gary, Indiana. So she's the body that was found here in this location. If you guys are able to see that 1800 East 19th Avenue, that's where Miss Teaira Batey was found.
Let's note that one of them says 3 bodies. He did it 3 times. Okay. With the same location. The one at the bottom.
Oh, the 3 times. Yeah, the 3. I'm like, dude, where were you?
43rd Street. Yeah.
So the women that he sorry y'all, there's just something going on here. So it only honestly just says the 2 women that were found at that address, the 413 East 43rd Avenue in Gary. Those 2 women would be Miss Sonya Billingsley, 63 of Gary, Indiana. She was reported missing on February 7th of 2014. Her body was found at the address that we stated alongside victim Tanya Gatlin. So that's that address that you guys see there at the bottom, the 413 East 43rd in Gary. That's where those 2 beautiful souls were found.
I would be interested to know the time frame between the first and the next one of how long he got away with it and why he went back to the same place.
I don't know. I have a very interesting curiosity about that as well. And then we have excuse me. Well, I want to make sure we show them. We have Miss Tracy Martin. She was 41 of Gary, Indiana. She was reported missing on June 26th of 2024. Her body was found in an abandoned house at 2200 Massachusetts. Sorry, y'all. That word gets me every time. Massachusetts Street in Gary, Indiana, on October 19th. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the map again. She was the one that was found up here at 2200 Massachusetts. So Oh, let's see. We have a comment here. It says, thank you, Kim, for enlightening me. Because honestly, I used to take these situations lightly. You know, when it's not you. It's like, well, I've done this, or I could never do that type of ordeal. But honestly, these conversations are very important, not just to keep people aware, but to keep them open-minded. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
exactly why we do this. That's exactly why we do this. And I'm glad that you see that. And then, well, you guys know that Miss Africa, she was found at the Motel 6, at this address located right here at 384 179th Street in Hammond, Indiana. So, but Miss Kristine Williams, that's the last one we have here. You don't like the Avalon? And let me go ahead and put up all the pictures. I'm over here like clicking a mouse. I'm over here like, can you guys see me click on this?
No, I can't.
So I'm like, Miss Kristine Williams, she was 36, of Gary, Indiana. She was a mother of 4 and employed at the time of her death. Her mother-in-law stated that she had not heard from Williams since February of 2014, and then her body was found at an abandoned house at 4330 Massachusetts Street in Gary, Indiana, on October 19th. So she was found here. And just to get on his milk dud head ass real quick. I just want to know why he thought that it was okay to do this to not just these 7 women, but the whole 1820 that you might be allegedly tied to, that you allegedly, told whatever police about. Because I mean, your crime spread everywhere. It's Gary and then Hammond. There's also other cities. He said he killed dozens of women. You mentioned Texas, California, North Carolina, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Detroit, Michigan.
Yes, he's killed 20 years in different places. He hates women, number one, clearly. And 2, just rewind a few seconds. Everybody thinks that it goes through that moment where, oh, I don't know them, so not that we're not compassionate or we're not empathetic, but out of sight, out of mind, because it's not directly in my face. So we all tend to say, oh, that can't happen to me. The only people who are really vigilant, of course, are the ones that something has happened to, or the people who like to watch the crime shows. One of the reasons why I believe, not just because I like them, like the ID channel and all of that, because we all are susceptible at any time for anything, but it makes you keep your head on a swivel when you are out. One of the things that I used to do religiously is that I would be on my phone walking to my car. You're so enthralled into that conversation. Even when I am exercising my freedoms of walking my dog, so if you want to be on the petty tip, I'm never talking on my phone when I'm walking her. I don't care if it's daylight. Sometimes, depending on what time I get home, I still take her outside because she still likes to go out and have to relieve herself, of course. But if it's dark, I see people walking their dogs and their head is down all the time on their phone. There's so many things that people can watch you in your habits. Never take the same path all the time, unless you run into certain people that you strike up some type of ship with, that y'all are looking out for one another. There's a lot of women that are not paying attention. They just walking the dog and they on the phone and not looking around their surroundings. And I'm not talking about people who have their AirPods in. I'm talking about people who literally have their phones in their hand, their faces in their hand, and they are walking their dog, who is just all over the place, right? Have them doing whatever they want to do. You go to the mall and you have all these packages and you think that you just balled out, somebody is watching you. You know, you go to the grocery store, somebody is watching you. This older lady in the store said that she had to come back in on a different side of town. She had gone to a fiesta somewhere and bought groceries, went to her car, put the stuff in her car, turned to go push her basket, and while she was gone, somebody opened up her trunk and took those packages out of her trunk, an elderly lady, because they knew that she wasn't going to be fast enough to come back, and if she was, what was she going to do? She's an elderly lady, right? So she had to come and rebuy her items at a different store because she didn't feel safe to go back over there. And didn't even, so she went and called to tell them what happened. Didn't call the police or anything like that. You know, she's like, I want a fixed income, so now I'm not going to be able to do something because she got to rebuy her groceries. And mainly, too, because she probably wasn't paying attention that somebody was watching her. We are marks to someone. We pass serial killers, we pass stalkers, we pass people every day. And because we are in our own mind, nobody is really paying attention. And that's why some of these crime shows are really important. Like You on Netflix that everybody loves, the stalking show where he murders people, that shit happens all the time. It happens all the time. So yeah, one of the things that I am, even when I told you I was thinking about, you know, school is a lot and I'm exhausted and I don't know how much energy I can put into the pod because I don't have the extra time anymore. But it's so important because people have to know. They have to know that you have to be on a swivel at all. Even in your own goddamn house with the doors locked, you got to be on a swivel because people are coming into your dwelling, especially if they know you live alone. You know, I know that by this time the lights are gonna be off every night at this time. So we just go in while we know they're at home and unlock some shit and go back in. Like you just never ever know. I'm still also confused as to how people are committing crimes with cameras every fucking where too.
Thank you. Oh, let's get into that really quick. There's cameras. They can download information from your phone. Y'all think y'all slick when y'all deleting these text messages and stuff. That's why I can't wait to be an investigator. Ooh, I almost brought that
All
up.
you have to do is subpoena the phone records, and they get everything. It was something I was watching on the ID channel where the guy and the lady, they were getting into it, and she was leaving him because he was cheating, and they had text messages going back and forth, and then all of a sudden he starts texting. And he had her phone, so he's texting himself back. Like, basically, he's texting himself, but texting from her phone, acting like everything was all good, but she was missing. And he went in and deleted the text messages from her phone. Didn't realize that all they had to do was subpoena the phone records, and they got everything. Where's he at now? Prison.
I just feel so drained when I watch crime shows, but this podcast makes it easier. I don't feel drained here. Oh, well, thank you. It's because we try. That's because it's because I would never down another true crime podcast for what they do because a lot of them present the information beautifully. The things that they do is they do it with the unbiased and they do it without having any emotions attached to the case. Me, however, and Miss Fatu as well, we're trying to put the human back in humanity. So we have to make sure that we are showing everybody like who we are, how we're actually feeling when we're talking about this case, like how angry we are, and also talk about how angry I am. This is the motel that Afrikka was found in Hammond, Indiana. Just wanted to give you guys that the image of the Motel 6 that she was at that day.
And then when you hear tussling and rumbling going on, do you just do nothing?
That's another thing too. Why is it that people do not come forward and try to do anything to assist someone?
We know why though. Honestly. It's because when you help somebody else out, not only does that person then jump on the same side the person that's abusing them, they then turn on you together as a couple.
That's true. That's true too.
Not all the time, most of the time. But
There
it's
was
not because the women actually want to help. They just fear what happens if nothing happens to this man. What's gonna happen when you go back home and I gotta be stuck here with this person? So I gotta pretend like I'm helping.
so I was so this is so even though we're talking about Africa and then the other 6 victims today, sometimes we like to mention other cases because all of this stuff relates. So there was a woman, her name was Gretchen Anthony. She lived in, I believe, was it Jupiter, Florida? And she went missing literally at the beginning of the pandemic. It was in March of 2020. And the thing that upset me is that when they interviewed her neighbor was all glee, talking about, well, yeah, I heard screaming last night. I mean, it sounded really, really bad. And
And
I
so
just,
just listen. Listen, there's a woman in my apartment complex now that's being abused. And I'm trying to pinpoint which apartment it is. So I can not say something to him, but something to the staff, something. And I hear it the first time I heard it, I was like, I'll have to show you at a different time because I'm not there of how the doors look. So it's a one, two, three, it could have been 4 or 5 different apartments. I think I have it pinpointed down to which one it is because it needs to be stopped. And
no,
if it's the one
seriously.
that I think it is, like there's children in the home as well and a baby. But it has to stop. Like, are you listening for entertainment purposes? The same thing when that little girl got killed and everybody in the apartment complex was saying, like people around was saying that she knew the little girl was being abused. They knew she was being abused and nobody did anything. It was like right before her birthday and the mom was like, happy birthday. And she was scared to talk. And her eye was even swollen in the video. And she ended up getting unalived by the mom, who's currently in prison. Why can't we? So we'll touch on this in a different podcast because this deserves its own hour of podcast thing. But why can't we use influencers as they influence people to do things like spend your money to buy this, go to this place, go to this place? How about stop killing people? How about stop raping people? How about stop abusing children? Can we use our influencing for that? So we're going to table that one because that's a question I really would like to know. Where are those people? Well, they're not getting airplay, of course, because, social media really is to keep us sheepled and not really teach us much of anything. That's why positivity, it gets low. And then when you add mess to your timeline, that's all you see. Even when you filter your social media to only get positivity and certain things, that other stuff still sneaks in. It still sneaks. They figure out a way. Oh, you friends with so and so, and even though their pages are positive, they follow this messy page. So we're gonna say that it's in their timeline, so we're gonna push it to yours because you may be interested too because you follow this person. Most days, to be honest, I don't even get on social media. I'm already tired from, reading a chapter and writing it damn near in the same day, as we talked about, and having a sleep. Well, 6 classes is exhausting in itself.
Okay.
But social media is also exhausting.
Very.
And some of these people with these podcasts that come on and they spread the facts of how people got murdered and how we can stop it. Not because you think men should be responsible for this and women should be responsible for this. We're beyond that. Because everybody's relationship everybody has their own relationship and their own way of how they want things. And because You, Holly, may want to do A, B, and C. I may want to do X, Y, and Z. And that works for my
Right.
life, so I'm going to do that. And so I don't give a shit what anybody else does with their life. That's just how some people are, right? But if I specifically say I don't want to follow the Shade Room, I don't want to follow World Star, I don't want to follow, whatever the pages are, I don't want to see their stuff if I don't follow them. So don't suggest it to me. Don't, because oh, my wife likes the Shade Room, so because she likes it, you gotta like it because you like her. No, that's not how it works. She could like the drama and I could not. It still doesn't work that way, But yeah, she said she tried that too. That's not the it sneaks through. But what's interesting is that if you follow their pages and you don't really like their stuff, it'll stop coming through. Tried and errored. Trial and error, is that what it's called?
Yeah, trial and error. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Morning Mimosas. We are sitting here talking about the cases of Afrikka Hardy and the other 6 victims of Darren Dion Van, and also just making sure that we're just educating. Remember, guys, we value criminal justice, healing, and educating. So we make sure that if we're talking about criminal justice, there's healing involved in that. We're going to make sure that we're also educating you guys as well. It's not just like someone had said once that, oh, is this a true crime podcast? Have you guys not watched the episode when Miss Janae Jones, a recovering alcoholic, came on here? And shout out to Miss Janae, we loved that episode. We tackled that. We tackled mental health with the men.
I can't wait to have another one.
Another one.
Yeah.
That'll. I have to work that one out because.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely going to come soon. But we're talking about different things. Yes. Have we been on true crime a little bit lately? Yes. But on October 21st, because like I said, all this ties in. Miss Vanois will be coming in, and she's going to tell us her heroic / powerful story. And I can't wait for her to come on here. You already know I'm about to have like a chill because I found her on YouTube, and then I showed that beautiful face in the costume, and we were just so intrigued by her story.
It's so relevant and important. It's very important for people to hear, to look out for the signs, to get questions, and like it. I am looking forward to that one, for sure.
It's going to be an absolute beautiful one. But we're gonna go ahead and head out of here to this Saturday. But the last thing that I'm going to say, just in general, women, know your worth, and just know that no matter what your profession is, do your profession and do it with pride. And don't let anybody else tell you how to live your life. These women were living their lives, and someone felt the need to disrupt that. So, ladies, if I can just hold you guys accountable today, know your worth. I almost forgot mine in the last 2 days. No, had to flip it out.
But you back.
So I just want to say one more time, for his victims, so just rest in love to Afrikka Hardy. Let me go ahead and bring up the photograph because we want to make sure we're being respectful. Rest in peace to Afrikka Hardy, Anith Jones, Teaira Batey, Kristine Williams, Tracy Martin, Sonya Billingsley, Tanya Gatlin, and this man's other victims. I hope you guys are at peace. Afrikka, we love you very, very much. And guys, this is Morning Mimosas, where we value criminal justice, healing, and education for whom? You black asses, and the whole minority community. I love you guys. I love you guys dearly.
Yeah.
Take care of yourselves. We will see you
Be
guys
safe.
soon. That's all.
Bye, humans.